Welcome to an epic adventure through the shadows of history. Imagine a world where grand cities once thrived, temples towering, markets buzzing, people laughing, only to vanish, buried by time, nature, or catastrophe. These are the lost civilizations, places like the Maya's jungle kingdoms, the mythical Atlantis, or Rome's ash-covered Pompeii. For centuries, their stories faded into legend until explorers, archaeologists, and scientists set out to find them. In this video, we're peeling back the layers of time to reveal how these worlds rose, why they fell, and the thrilling quests to rediscover them. From machete-wielding adventurers hacking through vines to high-tech drones scanning deserts, we'll uncover the past like never before. Get ready for a long, fascinating ride into the lost worlds beneath our feet. Part 1. The Maya, Jungle Empires Revealed. Introduction into the jungle. Let's begin our journey in the dense, steamy jungles of Central America, a land of towering trees, chattering monkeys, and hidden secrets. Here, more than 2,000 years ago, one of the most extraordinary civilizations in history rose from the wilderness, the Maya. Picture this: massive stone pyramids piercing the canopy, cities alive with color and sound, a people who tracked the stars and carved their stories into stone. The Maya weren't just survivors, they were architects of a golden age, thriving in a world that seemed untamable. But then, mysteriously, their great cities fell silent, swallowed by vines and time. In this first chapter, we'll explore how the Maya built their empire, why it crumbled, and the thrilling quest to bring it back into the light. Grab your machete. We're heading into the heart of a lost world. The rise of the Maya, a civilization born. The Maya story starts around 2000 BCE when small farming villages dotted what's now Mexico, Guatemala, Belize, Honduras, and El Salvador. These weren't mud huts. They grew maize, beans, and squash with such skill that by 1000 BCE, settlements like Cuello in Belize showed signs of permanence. Clay houses, pottery, even early trade in obsidian, a volcanic glass sharper than steel. Imagine a farmer hacking at soil with an obsidian blade, sweat beading as he plants seeds that'll feed a future empire. By 250 CE, the classic period began, the Maya's golden age. Cities like Tikal, Palenque, and Chichen Itza emerged as powerhouses. Tikal, in northern Guatemala, was a giant. Its 6 main pyramids, some over 200 feet tall, loomed over plazas where 50,000 people lived. Picture it. Temple de Fron, the temple of the giant jaguar, painted blood red, its steep steps leading to a priest chanting under a thatched roof, offering copal incense to the gods. Below, markets buzzed, vendors hawking cacao beans used as money, jade beads, and quetzal feathers shimmering green and gold. The Maya were geniuses of their time. They developed a writing system, hieroglyphs carved on stelae, tall stone slabs, or painted in codices. Imagine a scribe, brush in hand, detailing a king's victory over a rival city, glyphs swirling like art. Their calendar was a marvel, 2 cycles meshed, a 260-day sacred count, and a 365-day solar year, syncing every 52 years in a calendar round. Priests tracked Venus's orbit with eerie precision. its 584-day cycle guided wars and rituals. Picture a starry night, a priest atop a pyramid, eyes on the heavens, predicting a battle under Venus's rise. Daily life was vibrant. The pock-to-pock ball game, played with a rubber ball on stone courts, drew crowds. Players slammed the ball with hips, aiming for a high ring. Losers might face sacrifice. Imagine the roar, drums pounding, spectators betting maize as the ball rockets past, a mix of sport and sacred drama. Homes ranged from noble palaces with frescoes of gods to farmers' thatch huts, but all ate tamales and drank chocolate. Bitter, spiced, a divine treat. The height of power, cities and kings. By 600 to 800 CE, the Maya hit their peak. Palenque, in Mexico's Chiapas, dazzled with its temple of inscriptions, a tomb for King Pakal the Great, who died in 683 CE. His sarcophagus lid, carved with him ascending to the afterlife, weighs 5 tons. Imagine workers hauling it up 68 steps, chanting to honor their ruler. Pakal's jade mask, found in 1952, glints with eerie beauty. Eyes of shell and obsidian, staring into eternity. Chichen Itza, in Yucatan, rose later, around 600 CE. Its El Castillo Pyramid, 365 steps for the solar year, doubles as a calendar. Twice a year, shadows slither down like a serpent, Kukulkan, the feathered snake god, drawing gasps from onlookers. Picture a solstice, thousands gathered, priests in feathered cloaks, burning incense as the shadow moves, a cosmic spectacle. The nearby sacred cenote, a 200-foot wide sinkhole, held offerings, gold, jade, even human bones from sacrifices. Divers in the 1900s pulled up a teenage girl's skull. Imagine her final plunge, a ritual to appease rain gods. Kings ruled as divine figures, Yaxpac of Copan, Kinich Janab Pakal of Palenque, waging wars for captives and glory. Stelae boast victories. One from Tikal shows a king trampling a foe, spear raised. Trade tied it all together, salt from the coast, obsidian from volcanoes, cacao from lowlands, carried by porters on jungle trails, their backs bent under tumplines, forehead straps. The mysterious collapse. What went wrong? Then, around 900 CE, it unraveled. The classic Maya collapse is one of history's great mysteries. Cities like Tikal and Copan emptied, temples abandoned, plazas overgrown. Picture the silence. No more chants, no ball game thuds, just wind rustling through deserted streets as vines climb stone. What happened? One clue: drought. Tree rings and lake sediments from the Yucatan show a 200-year dry spell starting around 800 CE. Rainfall dropped 50%. Cenotes dried. Crops withered. Imagine farmers staring at cracked fields praying to Chak, the rain god, as maize stalks droop. At Copan, skeletons reveal malnutrition, shorter bones, tooth decay, signs of famine. Overpopulation strained resources. Tikal's 50,000 mouths needed vast farms. Deforestation bared soil to erosion. A 2018 study found pollen levels crashing, hinting fields turned to dust. War didn't help. Stelae from 800 CE show more battles, kings desperate for tribute as cities starved. Picture rival armies clashing, spears flying, captives dragged off for sacrifice, chaos feeding collapse. Some blame revolt, peasants tiring of kings' demands for labor and blood. Graffiti in abandoned homes hints at unrest. One scratched figure shows a toppled ruler. By 950 CE, southern cities faded. Survivors fled north to places like Chichen Itza, which lingered until the 1200s, or Uxmal, with its elegant puke-style arches. But the classic heart was gone, swallowed by jungle. Rediscovery, adventurers, and science. For centuries, the Maya slept under green blankets. Spanish conquistadors in the 1500s saw ruins but cared more for gold than glyphs. Then, in 1839, John Lloyd Stephens, an American diplomat, and Frederick Catherwood, a British artist, ventured in. Picture them. Stephens slashing vines with a machete, Catherwood sketching in sweat-soaked linen as mosquitoes buzz. At Copan, they found stelae toppled but intact, kings' faces staring from undergrowth. Catherwood's drawings, published in Incidents of Travel in Central America, 1841, showed pyramids entwined with roots, captivating Europe and America. Imagine readers flipping pages, jaws dropping at this lost world. Excavation followed. In 1885, Alfred Maudslay photographed Tikal. Imagine him lugging glass plates through mud, capturing Temple I's grandeur. His casts of glyphs cracked the Maya code. By the 20th century, scholars like Yuri Knorozov decoded them, revealing dynasties and dates. A stela from 702 CE reads, King 18 Rabbit dedicates this to the sun god. History reborn. Modern tech rewrote the story. In the 2010s, LiDAR, laser scanning from planes, pierced the canopy. A 2018 project in Guatemala mapped 800 square miles, finding 60,000 structures, houses, roads, even a 7-mile causeway. Picture scientists in labs, jaws dropping as screens reveal a metropolis 3 times Tikal's known size, terraces feeding millions, fortresses hinting at war. The Maya weren't scattered villages. They rivaled Rome in scale. Cultural legacy, echoes in time. The Maya never truly vanished. Their descendants, 7 million strong, speak 30 Mayan languages today. Picture a modern village, elders weaving textiles, kids kicking soccer balls near ancient stones. Chichen Itza draws tourists, 2 million yearly, its serpent shadow still awing crowds. Hollywood latched on. Mel Gibson's Apocalypto, 2006, dramatized their world, though with gore over glyphs. Their ideas endure. The calendar inspired doomsday hype. 2012, anyone? Their math gave us 0 before Europe. Artifacts dazzle. Pakal's mask, a looted gold disc from the cenote, sold for millions in 2020. The Maya's lost cities aren't gone. They whisper through time, a testament to human brilliance and fragility. Part 2. Atlantis, Myth or Reality? Introduction. A Tale from the Deep. Let's set sail into one of history's greatest mysteries, a lost world that's haunted imaginations for over 2,000 years, Atlantis. Picture an island of unimaginable splendor, golden temples gleaming under the sun, canals carving perfect rings through a bustling city, ships laden with riches docking at marble piers. Then, in a single cataclysmic day, it's gone, swallowed by the sea, leaving only whispers. This isn't a Hollywood script. It's a story born in ancient Greece, penned by a philosopher named Plato. But was Atlantis real, A forgotten civilization waiting to be found? Or just a fable? In this chapter, we'll unravel its origins, explore the theories of where it might lie, and follow the treasure hunters, both ancient and modern, who've chased its shadow. Get ready to dive into a mystery that's as deep as the ocean itself. The legend begins. Plato's vision. Our story starts in 360 BCE with Plato, one of Greece's greatest thinkers. In two dialogues, Timaeus and Critias, he describes Atlantis, a tale he claims came from Egyptian priests via his ancestor, Solon. Picture Plato in his Athenian academy, students gathered around as he spins this yarn. Atlantis was a naval superpower beyond the Pillars of Hercules, the Strait of Gibraltar, larger than Libya and Asia Minor combined. Its capital dazzled, concentric rings of land and water linked by bridges encircled a central hill crowned with a temple to Poseidon, its walls clad in a metal called orichalcum, glowing red gold. Imagine bustling streets, merchants trading ivory, warriors in bronze armor, farmers tending orchards of exotic fruit. Plato paints a utopia, advanced, prosperous, its kings descended from Poseidon himself. But hubris doomed them. After conquering much of the Mediterranean, Atlantis defied the gods. In one day and one grievous night, earthquakes and floods sank it. Picture waves crashing, temples crumbling, screams lost to the roar as the sea claims all. Plato ends abruptly. The Critias cuts off mid-sentence as if the tale itself drowned. Was this a moral lesson about pride, a historical echo, or both? He places it 9,000 years before his time, around 9,600 BCE, impossibly ancient, yet tantalizingly vivid. Was it real? Theories of Atlantis's roots. Scholars have argued for centuries. Is Atlantis fact or fiction? Let's explore the leading theories, each a thread in this tangled web. Santorini, Thera. Around 1600 BCE, a massive volcanic eruption rocked the Aegean Sea, obliterating much of the island of Santorini. The Minoan civilization there, known for palaces like Knossos on Crete, suffered. Picture it, a 100-foot tsunami slamming ash-covered towns, pumice raining as ships sink. Excavations at Akrotiri reveal a buried city, frescoes of boats, 3-story homes, frozen under 200 feet of ash. Plato's timeline's off, 1,600 years, not 9,000. But the parallels are eerie. A sea power sunk by nature's wrath. Imagine Greek sailors centuries later weaving tales of a lost island into myth. Crete and the Minoans. Some peg Atlantis as Crete itself. Minoan culture peaked around 2000 BCE with advanced plumbing, art, and trade. Knossos' palace, sprawling over 6 acres, hints at Plato's grandeur. Imagine bull-leaping festivals, walls painted with dolphins, ships sailing to Egypt. The Santorini blast weakened them. Mycenaean invaders finished the job by 1450 BCE. Could survivors' stories, passed down, become Atlantis? The Mediterranean mosaic. Maybe Atlantis wasn't one place, but many. Phoenician ports, Greek islands, or Carthage blended into a mythic stew. Picture traders swapping exaggerated tales at sea. I saw a city richer than Tyre sink in a storm. Plato, hearing these, crafts a parable. Yet the Pillars of Hercules point west, teasing a bigger truth. Beyond the Atlantic. Wild cards abound. Some say the Bahamas, where the Bimini Road, 1968 discovery, shows underwater stones like a sunken key. Imagine divers in flippers tracing a 1,900-foot road at 15 feet deep. Natural or man-made? Or the Azores, mid-Atlantic peaks that might have been islands in 9,600 BCE when sea levels were lower. Picture a lost tribe fleeing as ice melts flood their home. A prehistoric echo? Could Plato's 9,000 years hint at a real Ice Age culture? Say, a coastal settlement drowned as glaciers melted 12,000 years ago? No hard proof, but submerged sites off India's Gujarat, Dwarka, 9,500 BCE, or Japan's Yonaguni, odd stone terraces, fuel dreams. Imagine a forgotten people, their wooden cities rotted away, leaving only legend. The quest begins. Early seekers. Atlantis faded into myth after Plato, but the Renaissance revived it. In 1492, Christopher Columbus sailed west, some say chasing Atlantis's ghost, though he sought Asia. Picture his crew muttering, "Are we nearing the lost island?" Then spotting the Caribbean, a new world instead. By the 1600s, maps marked Atlantis in the Atlantic, cartographers guessing wildly. The 19th century lit the fuse. Ignatius Donnelly, a U.S. congressman, wrote Atlantis, The Antediluvian World, 1882, a bestseller claiming it was real, linking it to Egypt, the Maya, even Noah's flood. Imagine Victorian parlors, readers poring over his maps, dreaming of a lost cradle of civilization. Donnelly inspired treasure hunters, divers scoured the Mediterranean, adventurers sailed to the Canaries, all chasing Plato's clues. Picture a 1890s schooner, captain scanning horizons, crew hauling up barnacled junk, hoping for orichalcum. Modern hunts, science meets speculation. The 20th century brought rigor and wilder quests. In 1968, Dr. J. Manson Valentine found the Bimini Road off Florida. Imagine his excitement. This could be it, though geologists argue it's natural limestone. Sonar scans in the 2000s off Spain's Doñana marshes revealed circular patterns, mud flats hiding a city sunk by a tsunami 3,000 years ago. Picture researchers and waders coring sediment, debating Plato's mud shoals, where ships once grounded. Greece fights back. Santorini digs since 1967, unearthed Minoan pipes and pots, a 2010 TV special, Atlantis Found, hyping the link. Imagine cameras panning ash layers, archaeologists brushing pumice from a child's toy boat. Off Cuba, 2001 sonar spotted pyramids at 2,000 feet, too deep for divers, a tantalizing blur. And in 2011, a Canadian team claimed Atlantis near Cyprus. Rectangular ruins, quickly debunked as natural rock. High-tech fuels the chase. Satellites spot anomalies, ROVs, remote-operated vehicles, probe depths. Imagine screens flickering in a lab, scientists squinting at shapes in the murk. Yet skeptics abound. Plato made it up, a philosopher's allegory, not a map. Still, each find stokes the fire. Could a grain of truth lurk in the myth? Cultural legacy. Atlantis lives on. Atlantis isn't just archaeology, it's a cultural titan. Jules Verne's 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea, 1870, imagines it beneath the waves, Captain Nemo touring ruins in his Nautilus. Picture Victorian kids wide-eyed, dreaming of submarine quests. Disney's Atlantis, The Lost Empire, 2001, gave it steampunk flair. Imagine crystal-powered cities, a cartoon echo of Plato. It's in games. Assassin's Creed Odyssey explores a virtual Atlantis, and pseudoscience. Psychics like Edgar Cayce claimed it's under the Bermuda Triangle, sunk by crystals gone haywire. Picture 1940s seances, believers channeling Atlantean memories. Even science fiction, Stargate Atlantis, casts it as an alien outpost. Atlantis is a mirror, reflecting our longing for lost golden ages. The unanswered question: where next? So, where's Atlantis? Santorini's ash? Bimini's stones? Or nowhere, a tale spun from thin air? Plato's vagueness, beyond the pillars, larger than Libya, teases without telling. Picture a modern explorer, sonar in hand, scanning the Atlantic's abyssal plains, chasing a ghost. Each theory's a piece: volcanic truth, Minoan memory, Ice Age dream. But the puzzle's incomplete. Maybe it's out there, silt-covered, waiting. Or maybe it's in us. A story of what we could be and what we fear to lose. Part 3. Pompeii, Frozen in Time. Introduction. A city on the edge. Welcome to the third stop on our journey through lost worlds, a place where time stopped in an instant, sealing a bustling Roman city in a tomb of ash. Nestled in the sun-drenched bay of Naples, beneath the looming bulk of Mount Vesuvius, Pompeii thrived for centuries as a hub of trade, culture, and everyday life. Picture this: cobblestone streets echoing with merchants' calls, children darting through alleys, the scent of fresh bread wafting from ovens. Then, in a single day in 79 CE, it all ended, buried under volcanic fury, forgotten for over 1,600 years. In this chapter, we'll walk through Pompeii's vibrant days, relive its fiery demise, and uncover the extraordinary efforts to resurrect it from the ashes. Get ready. This is a story of life, loss, and a past frozen forever. Life before the end. A Roman snapshot. Pompeii wasn't Rome's grandest city, but it pulsed with vitality. Founded around 600 BCE by the Oscans, it fell under Roman rule by 80 BCE, growing into a thriving port of 20,000 souls near modern Naples, Italy. Picture its layout: a grid of streets framed by the Via dell'Abbondanza, the Street of Abundance, lined with shops, homes, and taverns. Houses ranged from cramped apartments to lavish villas like the House of the Faun. A 32,000-square-foot mansion with mosaic floors depicting Alexander the Great's battles. Imagine a wealthy merchant sipping wine there, admiring his art. Daily life buzzed. Bakeries churned out 81 types of bread. Loaves found in ovens, charred but intact, hint at recipes with spelt and poppy seeds. Picture a baker kneading dough, sweat beading as he stokes a wood fire, kids begging for scraps outside. Thermopolia, ancient fast food joints, served hot lentils and fish stew. Archaeologists found one with a fresco of a nymph, counter jars still holding traces of duck bones. Imagine workers grabbing lunch, gossiping over steaming bowls. The Forum, Pompeii's heart, dazzled with marble. Temples to Jupiter and Apollo flanked a basilica for law and trade. Picture it at noon: senators in togas debating taxes, vendors hawking olives, a priest burning incense as statues gleam. Entertainment thrived too. The amphitheater, seating 20,000, hosted gladiator fights. Graffiti brags, Celadus, heartthrob of the girls. Imagine roaring crowds, blood-staining sand as swords clash. Society was layered, elites in villas, slaves in backrooms. 35% of Pompeians were enslaved, grinding grain or scrubbing floors. Picture a slave girl spinning wool, her hands calloused, while her mistress lounges nearby. Love notes scratched on walls. Lucius loves Flavia, mixed with bawdy boasts. I screwed here, a city unshy about its passions. The Lupanar brothel, with explicit frescoes, served sailors. Imagine dim rooms, oil lamps flickering as clients haggle. The mountain awakens. Warnings ignored. Vesuvius loomed, a green giant locals admired but didn't fear. Its last eruption was prehistoric. Yet cracks appeared. In 62 CE, a massive earthquake rocked Pompeii. Temples toppled, homes split. Picture panic, roofs caving, a mother clutching her child as dust settles. Repairs began, columns rose anew, but tremors lingered. Geologists now know these were signs, magma stirring 6 miles below. August 24th, 79 CE, started calm. Market day, skies clear. Around 1 p.m., Vesuvius erupted. Pliny the Younger, 18 miles away in Misenum, watched with his uncle, Pliny the Elder, a Roman admiral. He wrote later, "A black cloud shot upward like a pine tree. Imagine his quills scratching as ash darkens the horizon. That cloud, a Plinian eruption, soared 20 miles high, raining pumice, light, jagged stones, on Pompeii. Picture streets clogging, people shielding heads, mules braying as carts jam gates. By evening, roofs sagged under 10 feet of debris. Some fled, others hid. At the house of Menander, a family of 10 barricaded indoors. Imagine them huddling, praying as beams groan. Pliny the Elder sailed to help, but died on Stabiai's shore, choked by fumes. Picture his fleet battling waves, sailors coughing in toxic haze. The final blow, a city entombed. August 25th brought the end. Around 1 a.m., pyroclastic surges, 500 degrees Celsius avalanches of gas and ash, raced down Vesuvius at 100 miles per hour. The first hit Herculaneum, 4 miles west. Mud flows drowned it, preserving wood and food. A loaf stamped sealer, slave of Quintus. Picture a baker fleeing, dough abandoned, as heat sears his lungs. Pompeii fell at 7 a.m., a surge vaporized flesh, leaving 2,000 dead in seconds. Imagine the horror, a mother cradling her child in the Villa of the Mysteries, both frozen as ash hardens around them. Another surge buried the city under 20 feet of debris. Herculaneum got 60 feet. Picture silence, no birds, no wind, just a gray wasteland where a city once stood. Vesuvius smoked for days. Pliny's pine tree faded, leaving a tomb. Rediscovery, unearthing the past. Pompeii vanished. Medieval maps ignored it. Locals called the mound La Civita, the city, suspecting ruins below. In 1599, architect Domenico Fontana dug a canal, hitting walls but moving on. Imagine his shrug. Old stones, nothing more. The real breakthrough came in 1748, when Rocco Gioacchino de Alcubierre, a Spanish engineer, struck marble while digging for King Charles III. Picture shovels clanging, workers gaping as a theater emerges, seats intact, stage waiting for actors long gone. Excavation was messy. Alcubierre looted treasures, dynamited walls, yet wonders surfaced. In 1763, an inscription, Pompeii, named the site. Imagine the thrill. We've found it! By 1800, Giuseppe Fiorelli refined the dig. He poured plaster into cavities where bodies decayed, creating casts, a dog writhing, a man shielding his face, snapshots of death. Picture Fiorelli's team brushing ash, tears mixing with dust, as a child's form appears. The find stunned. Villa of the Papyri in Herculaneum yielded 1,800 carbonized scrolls, philosophy by Philodemus, readable via X-ray today. Imagine scholars unrolling brittle pages, decoding Rome's mind. Pompeii's streets revealed life, wheel ruts, a bakery's oven with 81 loaves, a thermopolium's duck stew. Frescoes glowed, Venus rising from waves, gladiators in combat, colors vivid after centuries. Picture tourists in 1800s, top hats, marveling at a brothel's naughty art. Ongoing revelations, a living dig. Excavation never stopped. 2/3 of Pompeii's 170 acres are unearthed, Herculaneum less so. In 2021, a slave room emerged, 8 by 6 feet, beds of rope, a pot for urine. Imagine a family squeezed in, dreaming of freedom. That year, a chariot surfaced, silver trimmed for weddings. Picture it rolling in a parade, flowers trailing. In 2023, a fresco of pizza, well, flatbread with fruit, hinted at Roman tastes. Imagine a cook slapping dough, smirking at modern hype. Tech amplifies the story. Ground-penetrating radar maps, undug zones, DNA analysis of casts reveals diets, fish-heavy, and diseases, tuberculosis. Picture labs humming, scientists peering at bones, piecing together lives. Looters threaten, tunnels riddle the site, but drones now patrol, guarding history. Cultural legacy echoes in ash. Pompeii's a time machine, showing Rome not in marble glory but gritty reality. It's inspired art. Edward Bulwer Lytton's The Last Days of Pompeii, 1834, imagines its fall, a Victorian hit. Picture readers sobbing over doomed lovers. Movies like Pompeii, 2014, add Hollywood lava, though ash was the killer. Today, 2.5 million visit yearly. UNESCO protects it, but decay looms. Rain erodes walls. Tourists chip mosaics. Picture guides shouting over crowds, a cast's hollow eyes staring back. Pompeii's lesson? Life's fragile, yet in its stillness, it speaks louder than ever. Part 4. The Indus Valley, a Forgotten Giant. Introduction. A Hidden Marvel. Welcome to the 4th chapter of our exploration into lost worlds, a civilization so advanced it rivaled Egypt and Mesopotamia, yet so elusive it slipped through history's fingers. Along the fertile plains of the Indus River, in what's now Pakistan and northwest India, the Indus Valley civilization flourished over 4,000 years ago. Picture this: sprawling cities of baked brick, streets laid out like a chessboard, plumbing that would make a Roman jealous, all thriving in a land of monsoons and dusty winds. Then, just as mysteriously as it rose, it faded, its secrets buried under sand, its name lost until the 20th century dug it up. In this part, we'll uncover how the Indus people built their giant, why it vanished, and the quest to reclaim their story from the dust. Let's step into a forgotten realm. A planned civilization, the birth of urban genius. The Indus Valley story begins around 3300 BCE when villages along the Indus and its tributaries, Gagar Hakra, now dry, mastered farming. By 2600 BCE, the Harappan phase erupted, named after Harappa, one of its first excavated sites. Cities like Harappa, Mohenjo-Daro, and Dholavira sprang up, each housing 30,000 to 50,000 people, massive for their time. Picture Mohenjo-Daro at dawn, mud brick walls glowing orange, smoke curling from kilns, a farmer herding goats past a grid of streets as precise as a modern blueprint. These weren't chaotic towns. They were engineered marvels. Streets ran north-south, east-west, some 30 feet wide. Imagine carts rolling smoothly, no medieval mud here. Houses, 2 stories high, had courtyards and wells. Picture a mother drawing water, kids splashing nearby. The Great Bath at Mohenjo-Daro, 39 feet long and waterproofed with bitumen, hints at rituals. Imagine priests chanting, bathers cleansing in sacred waters, under a scorching sun. Plumbing stunned archaeologists. Terracotta pipes drained waste to covered sewers beneath streets, a system Rome wouldn't match for centuries. Picture a worker laying pipes, sweat dripping as he fits them snugly. Sanitation was king. Granaries, like Harappa's 150-foot-long storehouse, held surplus wheat and barley. Imagine the hum. Laborers stacking grain, overseers tallying on clay tablets. Trade fueled it all. Indus merchants sailed to Mesopotamia. Seals stamped with bulls and unicorns turned up in Ur, 1,500 miles away. Picture boats laden with cotton, beads, and copper gliding downriver to the Arabian Sea. At Lothal, a dockyard with tidal locks, the world's oldest, handled ships. Imagine sailors unloading lapis lazuli from Afghanistan, bartering with Sumerian traders under palm shade. Artisans crafted wonders, beads micro-drilled with stone, weights so precise they suggest a unified system. Picture a craftsman squinting, drilling a carnelian bead smaller than a pea. Life and culture. A quiet sophistication. Who were these people? We don't know their language. Their script, 400-plus symbols on seals, remains a cipher, but their lives shine through relics. Homes had toys, clay carts, dice. Imagine kids racing mini-wheels down alleys, giggling as parents watch. Figurines of women adorned with jewelry hint at goddesses. Picture a potter shaping a mother goddess, her headdress piled high, a votive for fertility. No palaces or temples scream king. Unlike Egypt's pharaohs, power here seems subtle. A priest-king statue from Mohenjo-Daro, a bearded man in a patterned robe, might be a ruler or myth. Imagine him gazing over his city, calm yet commanding. Burials were modest, skeletons with pots, no gold hoards. Picture a family laying a loved one in a brick-lined pit, whispering farewells. Food was simple but rich. Lentils, barley, sesame oil. Imagine a cook grinding spices, flatbread sizzling on clay hearths. Cotton cloth, dyed with madder root, drape them, world's first. Picture a weaver at a loom, threads glowing red in sunlight. Seals show animals, elephants, rhinos, a unicorn bull, hinting at a lush past. Imagine hunters tracking game across floodplains now desert. Religions murky, no grand idols, but small shrines and fire altars suggest rituals. Picture a priest tending flames, smoke rising to unseen gods. Their script, short bursts on seals, 5 to 20 signs, might name traders or goods. Imagine a merchant stamping clay, sealing a deal with a horned bull mark. The mysterious decline. A giant fades. By 1900 BCE, this giant stumbled. Cities shrank, then emptied. Why? The collapse puzzles scholars, but clues pile up. Climate change hit hard. Around 2200 BCE, the monsoon weakened. Gagar Hakra dried. Imagine farmers staring at cracked fields, wells sucking dust. Lake cores show a 200-year drought. Crops failed. Skeletons from Harappa reveal rickets, hunger gnawing bones. River shifts worsened it. The Indus flooded unpredictably, silt clogging canals. Picture Mohenjo-Daro's streets swamped, bricks crumbling as water recedes. Trade faltered. Mesopotamian records drop Indus mentions by 1800 BCE. Imagine boats rotting at Lothal, merchants turning west. Some blame invasion. The Aryan hypothesis ties it to nomadic tribes from Central Asia linked to Vedic texts. A 1940s find at Harappa, 40 skeletons, some with skull wounds, hints at violence. Picture a raid, spears flashing, families fleeing as fires flare. But evidence is thin. Most cities show abandonment, not destruction. Overuse played a role. Deforestation for brick kilns bared soil. Imagine axemen felling trees, hills eroding into rivers. Salt seeped into fields. D'Oliveira's white crusts tell of ruined farmland. Picture a farmer tasting earth, spitting in despair. By 1700 BCE, urban life faded. Survivors drifted to villages or east, leaving ghosts of cities behind. Rediscovery. Digging up the past. For millennia, the Indus slept. Alexander the Great marched past in 326 BCE, clueless of buried giants. Locals scavenged bricks. Harappa's ruins fed 19th century railroads. Imagine workers hauling ancient blocks, rails gleaming atop lost streets. In 1856, British engineer John Brunton noticed these bricks, too uniform for medieval hands. Picture him puzzling. Who made these? Real discovery hit in 1921. John Marshall, India's archaeology chief, sent R.D. Banerjee to Mohenjo-Daro. Imagine Banerjee's shovel striking brick, unearthing the Great Bath. His cry, a city. Harappa followed. Marshall's team brushed sand, jaws dropping at granaries and seals. Picture 1920s diggers, turbans soaked, lifting a unicorn seal to sunlight. The finds awed. A dancing girl bronze, 4 inches tall, poised mid-step. Imagine an artisan 4,500 years ago, casting her sassy stance. Beads, weights, a game board etched in stone. Daily life surfaced. Picture kids tossing dice, a timeless joy. The script stumped all, short, cryptic. Imagine linguists squinting at seals, decades failing to crack it. By 1924, Marshall declared it a Bronze Age titan, rivaling Egypt yet its name, Indus Valley, is modern, its true title's lost. Ongoing quest, unanswered secrets. Digs continue, over 1,000 sites. 300,000 square miles, only 10% excavated. Rakhigarhi, India's biggest site, yielded a 2015 skeleton. DNA hints at local roots, no Aryan flood. Imagine geneticists in labs, rewriting invasion tales. Dholavira, in Gujarat's desert, dazzles. Stone gates, a stadium, picture workers chiseling reservoirs, defying arid death. The script taunts, 500 symbols, no Rosetta Stone. Some say it's not even language, just tallies. Imagine a 2020 AI scan, failing again. Climate data refines the fall. 2018 studies map monsoon shifts. Picture researchers coring lake beds, tracing a drying doom. Looters raid, seals hit black markets, yet drones now guard, mapping undug towns. Cultural legacy, a silent giant's voice. The Indus whispers today. 7 million Pakistanis and Indians trace ancestry here. Picture villagers farming atop ancient fields, unaware of ghosts below. Bollywood's Mohenjo-Daro, 2016, spins romance. Though historians cringe at its liberties, imagine audiences swooning over a fictional priestess. Its legacies practical, urban planning, cotton, weights, echo in modern India. Picture a Mumbai planner nodding to Harappan grids. Yet its silence, no epics, no kings, makes it a mystery giant, humbler than boastful Rome. It's a lost world still speaking of order, resilience, and a fall we may yet mirror. Part 5. Lost Cities of the Desert, Petra and Beyond. Introduction. Secrets in the Sand. Welcome to the fifth leg of our journey through lost worlds, where the scorching sun and shifting dunes hide some of history's most breathtaking ruins. In the deserts of the Middle East, ancient peoples carved cities from rock and oasis, defying the harsh sands to build thriving hubs of trade and culture. Picture this: camel caravans winding through canyons, merchants haggling over spices, temples glowing in the twilight of a relentless sun. Among them, Petra stands tallest, a rose-red marvel, joined by Palmyra's columns and Ubar's fabled wells, all lost to time until explorers braved the wilderness to find them. In this chapter, we'll uncover how these desert giants rose, why they faded, and the epic quests to unearth their secrets. Grab some water. We're heading into the arid unknown. Petra's glory, the rock-cut wonder. Our story begins in southern Jordan, where the Nabatean people built Petra around 300 BCE. Nestled in a canyon of the Wadi Musa, Valley of Moses, Petra wasn't just a city, it was a fortress of ingenuity. Picture the Sikh, a narrow mile-long gorge, walls soaring 600 feet, shadows dancing as traders shuffle through, opening to the treasury, Al-Khazne, a 130-foot facade carved into pink sandstone. Imagine it at dusk, its columns and urns ablaze in golden light, a camel's snort echoing as its rider unloads frankincense. The Nabateans were masters of trade, controlling routes from Arabia to the Mediterranean. They dealt in incense, myrrh, and bitumen for Egyptian mummies. Petra sprawled over 100 square miles, 200,000 people at its peak, its heart a valley of tombs, temples, and homes. Picture the royal tombs, 4 cliffside crypts, urn, silk, Corinthian, palace, carved for kings, their facades blending Greek and local styles. Imagine mourners chanting, placing oil lamps in niches. Water was their genius. Aqueducts and cisterns trapped rare rains, channeling them via clay pipes. Picture engineers chiseling channels, sweat beating as they defy the desert. The theater, seating 8,500, hosted plays. Imagine actors in masks, voices bouncing off stone as crowds cheer. Markets thrived, coins from Rome, India, even China hint at global reach. Picture stalls piled with saffron, a trader weighing silver with a grin. By 106 CE, Rome annexed Petra, renaming it Arabia Petraea. Yet it flourished until trade shifted to sea routes. Imagine ships bypassing once busy trails, merchants packing up. Earthquakes in 363 and 551 CE cracked its core. Picture temples tilting, dust rising as survivors flee. By 700 CE, Petra faded. Bedouins roamed its ruins, goats grazing where kings once ruled. Rediscovery of Petra, a Swiss explorer's triumph. Petra slept for a millennium. Crusaders built a castle nearby in the 1100s, unaware of the city below. Imagine knights peering at cliffs, missing the treasury's gleam. Europeans heard whispers, Arab tales of a stone city, but the desert guarded it. In 1812, Johann Ludwig Burckhardt, a Swiss explorer, cracked the secret. Picture him, 27, bearded, disguised as Sheikh Ibrahim, a Muslim trader. Fluent in Arabic, he charmed Bedouin guides to lead him through the sick. On August 22nd, he stepped out. Imagine his gasp. The treasury's facade towering, sand crunching underfoot, a mirage turned real. He scribbled in his journal, "A rose-red city, half as old as time," words later immortalized by poet John Bergen. Burckhardt sketched frantically, camels, cliffs, dodging suspicion. He died in 1817, but his notes hit Europe like a thunderbolt. Picture 1810s, salons buzzing, maps redrawn. Excavation followed. British digs in the 1920s mapped the theater. Imagine shovels clinking, a Bedouin boy uncovering a coin. Today, 85% lies buried. 2020 digs found a monumental tomb under the treasury. Picture archaeologists brushing sand, revealing a noble's crypt. Petra's a UNESCO gem. 2 million visit yearly. Imagine tourists snapping selfies, dwarfed by rock-cut majesty. Palmyra, the oasis queen. Next, we shift to Syria's desert, where Palmyra bloomed by 2000 BCE, an oasis on the Silk Road. Picture it, date palms swaying, springs bubbling amid sand, a lifeline linking Rome to Persia. By 100 CE, under Roman rule, it dazzled. Temple of Bel, 150 feet wide, gleamed with marble. Imagine priests sacrificing bulls, incense thick as traders, barter silk below. The colonnade, a half-mile of arches, line the main street. Picture caravans unloading spices, Roman soldiers patrolling in red cloaks. Palmyra's queen, Zenobia, seized power in 267 CE. Defying Rome, she conquered Egypt. Imagine her in gold, leading troops on horseback, a rebel in a man's world. Rome crushed her in 272 CE. Picture walls breached, Zenobia chained, city humbled. Trade kept it alive. Coins from China, glass from Tyre, until the 7th century Arab conquest shifted roots. Imagine markets emptying, sand creeping in, earthquakes and wars. ISIS looted it in 2015, left ruins. Picture dynamite toppling Bel's temple, a modern wound. Rediscovery of Palmyra, a Western gaze. Palmyra faded, medieval travelers like Ibn Battuta missed it. Imagine 1300s nomads camping amid columns, clueless of Rome's echo. In 1678, British merchants stumbled in, picture them awed, a city of pillars in the wilderness. By 1751, Robert Wood and James Dawkins mapped it. Imagine sketches of arches, sandstorms blurring ink. Their book, The Ruins of Palmyra, 1753, sparked Europe's Oriental craze. Picture aristocrats building faux ruins in gardens. Digs began in the 1920s. French teams found Zenobia's palace. Imagine brushes sweeping dust, a throne room emerging. War halted progress. 2015 destruction broke hearts. Yet 3D scans now rebuild it virtually. Picture tech resurrecting Bel's walls. Ubar, the Atlantis of the sands. Finally, to Oman, where Ubar, the Atlantis of the sands, lured dreamers. Mentioned in the Quran and Arabian Nights, imagine storytellers whispering of a city of towers sunk for sin. It thrived on frankincense by 1000 BCE. Picture camel trains winding dunes, resin sacks swaying, wealth rivaling Petra's. A sinkhole swallowed it. Folklore says 280 CE. Imagine towers tilting, screams lost to sand as water vanishes. For centuries it was myth. Bedouins spoke of al-Ghanim, mother of spoils. Picture 1800s, explorers shrugging at empty wastes. In 1992, Nicholas Clapp, inspired by satellite images, hit pay dirt. NASA's Landsat spotted tracks converging on a sinkhole. Imagine his team digging, unearthing walls and pottery near Shisar. Picture the thrill. We've found it. Towers, wells, a trade hub confirmed by radiocarbon at 2000 BCE. Critics argue it's just one of many, but the legend lives. Rediscoveries echo desert tales. These cities slept under sand, Petra till 1812, Palmyra till 1678, Ubar till 1992, each a triumph of grit. Picture Burckhardt sweating, Wood sketching, Clapp scanning from space, explorers bridging time. Digs reveal more. 2021's Petra tomb, Palmyra's restored arch. Imagine lasers mapping undug sands. They're fragile. Tourism erodes Petra, war scars Palmyra, Ubar's dunes shift. Yet UNESCO guards them. Picture drones buzzing, preserving stone. Their stories trade, frankincense, silk, linking worlds when deserts were highways. Cultural legacy, sands of time. Petras in films, Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade, 1989. Imagine Indy galloping through the Essek, a Hollywood nod. Palmyra's Zenobia inspires novels. Picture Victorian readers swooning over her defiance. Ubar fuels fantasy. Lovecraft's nameless city echoes its doom. Imagine 1920s fans shivering at cosmic sands. Today, they awe. Petra's 2 million visitors, Palmyra's virtual rebirth, picture tourists dwarfed by columns, feeling history's weight. Their desert dreams of wealth, defiance, and secrets still buried. Part 6. The Future of Discovery. Introduction. Beyond the Horizon. Welcome to the final chapter of our journey through lost civilizations, a leap from the dusty past into the boundless future. We've unearthed the Mayas' jungle cities, chased Atlantis' myth, walked Pompeii's ash-covered streets, marveled at the Indus Valley's bricks, and stood in Petra's desert canyons. But the story doesn't end here. Beneath our feet, under oceans, even locked in ice, countless worlds still wait, silent, unseen, their secrets teasing us. Picture this: drones humming over uncharted lands, robots diving into the deep, scientists peering through time with tools we can barely imagine. In this part, we'll explore how technology is rewriting archaeology, speculate on what lost civilizations might still be found, and wrestle with the balance between discovery and preservation. The past isn't finished with us yet. Let's see where it's taking us next. The Tech Revolution. Tools of Tomorrow. Archaeology is no longer just shovels and brushes. It's a high-tech treasure hunt. LiDAR, light detection and ranging, has already transformed the game. Picture this: a plane buzzing over Guatemala's jungle in 2018, lasers piercing the canopy, 60,000 Maya structures emerge on screens, roads and pyramids unseen for centuries. Imagine scientists in a lab, coffee in hand, gasping as a lost metropolis unfolds. Terraces feeding millions. A civilization 3 times bigger than we knew. Satellites take it global. NASA's Earth Observing System scans deserts and forests. Picture infrared catching Palmyra's buried walls or spotting anomalies in the Sahara, hinting at lost oases. In 2020, Cambodia's Angkor Wat doubled in size. LiDAR mapped a sprawl of canals and temples. Imagine monks centuries ago, tending rice paddies now hidden under vines. Underwater, ROVs, remote-operated vehicles, probe depths. Picture a submersible off Greece in 2016, lights piercing the murk to reveal the Antikythera wreck. Bronze statues, a 2,000-year-old computer hauled up. Sonar maps the seabed. 2021 scans off Alexandria found Cleopatra's palace. Imagine waves lapping over sunken columns, fish darting through a queen's halls. Ground-penetrating radar, GPR, sees beneath soil. Picture archaeologists in 2019 rolling carts over Stonehenge. Underground pits emerge, a ritual landscape lost to time. AI joins in, algorithms sift data. Imagine a 2023 program decoding Indus script patterns, teasing out trade lists. Or not, the jury's still out. DNA analysis digs deeper. Pompeii's casts yield genes, picture labs humming, revealing fish-rich diets or tuberculosis scars, lives reborn in code. New frontiers. Where are the next lost worlds? What's still out there? Let's speculate, starting with Antarctica. Ice hides secrets, 1.5 million square miles, frozen for 34 million years. Imagine a 2020 radar sweep finding a World War II base, planes intact under snow. But older, some dream of prehistoric ruins, lost tribes from when it was green 90 million years ago. Picture a fossil city, stone tools under ice, a sci-fi stretch but tantalizing. Oceans beckon, 70% of Earth's surface, mostly unmapped. Picture a 2022 dive off Japan's Yonaguni, 10,000-year-old terraces, steps carved in stone, natural or man-made. Divers debate. Imagine a submerged village, nets rotting as seas rose post-Ice Age. Off India's Dwarka, sonar spots walls at 120 feet, Krishna's city from myth. Picture priests fleeing floods, relics sinking into myth. The Amazon hides more. In 2018, LiDAR found 81 pre-Columbian villages. Imagine huts under canopy, 500,000 people lost to conquest and disease. Bolivia's Beni region revealed mounds. 2021 scans show causeways, a million-strong culture. Picture farmers shaping earth, pyramids dwarfed by trees. Deserts tempt too. The Sahara was lush 6,000 years ago. Imagine satellite heat maps in 2025, spotting Garamantes tunnels, lost Libyan cities, camels once watering at vanished lakes. Australia's outback whispers, rock art hints at forgotten tribes. Picture a 2030 dig, unearthing a 40,000-year-old camp, tools glinting in red dust. Speculative horizons beyond the known. What if we push further? Caves, Turkey's Derinkuyu, an 8-level underground city. Imagine 1960s explorers descending, lanterns flickering on 20,000 residents' homes, carved 2,500 years ago. More lurk. Picture a 2035 find in China, a Han Dynasty refuge, scrolls intact. Polar ice caps, Greenland's melting reveals Viking farms. Imagine a 2024 dig, sod houses surfacing, a Norse outpost lost to cold. Could ancient microbes in ice, revived in labs, hint at lost ecosystems? Or peoples? Picture scientists in hazmat suits, peering at DNA from 10,000 BCE. Space isn't off limits. Mars's face, a 1976 Viking photo, fuels wild dreams. Imagine a 2040 rover brushing red dust, finding nothing, or maybe glyphs. Closer, the moon. Apollo 12's 1969 seismometers hum. Picture a 2050 probe, drilling craters, seeking alien relics, or human ones, lost in conspiracy haze. Challenges ahead. Discovery versus preservation. Finding's only half the battle. Keeping it intact is tougher. Tourism strained sites. Pompeii's 2.5 million visitors crack frescoes. Imagine guides shooing selfie sticks, walls crumbling under boots. Petra's carvings erode. 2023 reports show wind and feet wearing rock. Picture a Bedouin elder sighing, "It's fading." Climate change accelerates loss. Sea levels rise, flooding Dwarka's ruins. Imagine waves lapping at Indus bricks, salt corroding history. Antarctica's thaw exposes, then destroys. Picture a 2030 dig racing melt, artifacts rotting in air. Desertification buries, Sahara sands shift, swallowing Ubar again. Imagine dunes creeping, a city lost twice. Looting persists. 2021 saw Maya relics on eBay. Picture a looter's torch in Tikal, jade snatched from tombs. Tech fights back, drones patrol Petra. Imagine buzzing wings, catching thieves mid-heist. Ethics loom. Should we dig sacred sites? Picture a 2026 debate. Tribes blocking a dig. Leave our ancestors be. Preservation innovates. 3D printing rebuilds Palmyra's arch. Imagine a 2022 unveiling, resin echoing stone. Virtual reality lets us walk Pompeii. Picture 2030 headsets. Strolling forum streets. Sans damage. But can tech save the real thing? Or just its ghost? The big questions. What's next for us? What drives this future? Curiosity? The same itch that sent Burckhardt to Petra. Imagine a 2040 kid, VR goggles on, dreaming of digs. Science? AI might crack into script by 2035. Picture linguists cheering. A 4,000-year-old voice heard. Survival? Lost cities teach resilience. Imagine a 2050 planner studying Harappan sewers to beat drought. Could we lose our own world? Pompeii's ash, Indus droughts, warnings echo. Picture a 2,100 archaeologist unearthing New York. They ignored the floods. The future's duel, finding pasts, safeguarding futures. Imagine a global pact, drones and labs racing time. Conclusion: an endless quest. The future of discovery is a torch passed from Stephen's machete to LiDAR's beam. Picture a 2045 dig, robots in Antarctic ice pulling up a spear, or a sub off Yonaguni, lights on a sunken wall. Lost worlds aren't finite. Each find sparks questions. Imagine a 2060 headline, New Atlantis found. The chase never ends. What do you hope we uncover? Share below. Thanks for joining this epic trek from past to possibility.